Right now, your body is doing things so revolting, you'd probably throw up if you saw them happening in a lab. We spend billions trying to scrub away our own biology, but without these completely disgusting bodily functions, you wouldn't survive the week. In fact, there's one universally hated fluid your body produces that is actually a mass graveyard of the microscopic heroes, keeping you alive right now. I'll reveal what it is at the end. But first, let's talk about the thick, sticky slime you swallow every single day without even realizing it. Let's start with snot, phlegm, boogers, mucus. Whatever name you prefer to give it, it is undeniably gross. We blow it into tissues, we cough it up into sinks, and we generally consider it an unwanted sign of sickness. But here is the crazy, mind-blowing truth about human biology. Your body produces a massive amount of this sticky slime every single day. We are talking about a liter to a liter and a half. Imagine a large soda bottle completely filled with thick, stringy mucus. That is what your body manufactures every 24 hours. Where does it all go? You swallow almost all of it. Before your stomach turns and you feel the urge to gag, you need to understand that mucus is one of the most sophisticated and vital defense mechanisms in the entire animal kingdom. Think of it as biological flypaper for your respiratory system. Every single time you take a breath, you are not just inhaling pure oxygen. You are inhaling millions of microscopic particles. You are breathing in dead skin cells, exhaust fumes, pollen, fungal spores, and lethal infectious pathogens. If those particles made it directly into the delicate, vulnerable air sacs of your lungs, you would be battling constant, life-threatening bouts of pneumonia and respiratory infections. Instead, they hit the mucus. The specialized cells lining your nasal passages and throat continuously secrete this viscous gel, trapping the invaders instantly upon contact. But the defense system does not stop there. Beneath this protective layer of slime are millions of microscopic, hair-like structures called cilia. These cilia beat back and forth in perfect rhythm, acting like a synchronized swimming team or a biological escalator. They constantly, tirelessly push the dirty, bacteria-filled mucus up and away from your deep lungs, moving it steadily toward your throat. Once it reaches the back of your throat, your body takes over with an unconscious reflex, and you swallow it. Why would your body force you to swallow a toxic sludge of trapped dirt and viruses? Because it is sending those trapped invaders directly into our next terrifying bodily function, a place where absolutely nothing survives. By the way, if you are finding the hidden, gross biology of your own body fascinating, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. We dive into the mind-blowing secrets of your world every single week, and you really do not want to miss what we have coming up next. So, you have just swallowed a mouthful of pathogen-laced mucus. Now it drops down your esophagus and plunges into a literal vat of highly corrosive acid sitting right in the middle of your abdomen. Your stomach is a hostile environment, filled with gastric juice that is primarily composed of hydrochloric acid. To truly put this in perspective, think about the pH scale. Pure water is perfectly neutral at a 7. Battery acid, which can dissolve organic matter and burn your skin severely, has a pH level of around 0. Your stomach acid sits comfortably between 1.5 and 3 on that scale. It is so powerfully corrosive that if you were to safely extract it and place a single drop on a piece of wood, it would burn a hole right through it. If you were to accidentally swallow a small metal razor blade, given enough time, your stomach acid possesses the chemical strength to completely dissolve the metal. So, the obvious question is, how does a sack of living flesh hold a liquid that can melt steel without digesting itself? The answer brings us right back to our gross friend from the respiratory tract, mucus. Your stomach lining secretes its own specialized, incredibly thick layer of alkaline mucus. This alkaline barrier physically coats the walls of your stomach and chemically neutralizes the hydrochloric acid right at the surface of the tissue. Your stomach is constantly, actively rebuilding this protective shield. If this barrier ever weakens or fails, the acid literally starts digesting your own stomach wall, which is exactly what causes the agonizing pain of a stomach ulcer. But why do we carry around a pouch of deadly, high industrial strength acid inside us? It serves as an evolutionary decontamination chamber. That swallowed snot, the invisible bacteria swarming on your fresh salad, the germs transferred from your fingers to your sandwich. They all drop into this inescapable acid bath and are instantly incinerated. The acid breaks down complex, tough proteins into usable nutrients for your body, but just as importantly, it acts as a ruthless biological bouncer. It ensures that the microscopic threats of the outside world do not survive their journey into the inside of your body. Moving up from the bubbling acid pit of your stomach, let us talk about something you probably try to secretly dig out of your head on a regular basis. Earwax. Clinically known in the medical world as ceramin, earwax looks like dirty, yellowish-brown grease. It feels gross on your fingers, and we have built an entire consumer industry dedicated to scrubbing, flushing, and swabbing it out. But medical professionals are constantly begging people to put down the cotton swabs and leave it alone. Why? Because earwax is not accumulated dirt. It is a custom-made, highly effective biological security system. Your ear canal is essentially a dark, warm, and humid cave leading directly into the center of your head. If you think about this from the perspective of the wild, natural world, this dark cave is premium, luxurious real estate for insects looking for a safe place to hide or lay eggs. It is also the perfect breeding ground for opportunistic fungi and bacterial infections. To prevent your head from becoming a bug hotel or a fungal terrarium, specialized glands located in the outer part of your ear canal continuously pump out a complex mixture of fatty acids, cholesterol, alcohols, and dead skin cells. This glorious concoction creates the wax. First, this wax makes the entire ear canal highly acidic and waterproof. This creates an incredibly hostile environment where bacteria and fungi simply cannot take root and grow. Second, the wax is incredibly sticky and viscous. If a tiny wandering insect decides to crawl into your ear while you are sleeping, it does not get far. It gets entirely bogged down in the wax, trapped like a prehistoric dinosaur sinking into a tar pit. Furthermore, your ear canal is a brilliant self-cleaning mechanism. The skin inside your ear actually grows outward, moving like a microscopic, slow-moving conveyor belt. It carries the old, dried-up wax, along with whatever trapped dirt, debris, or microscopic bugs are permanently encased in it, out to the visible part of your ear. Once there, it naturally dries up and flakes away when you chew or talk. When you shove a cotton swab in there, you are not cleaning your ear. You are violently interrupting a natural process. You are packing the wax deeper into the canal, impaling it against your eardrum, and entirely disabling your body's natural insect trap. Now, prepare yourself, because this next bodily function challenges what it even means to be a human being. You probably walk around thinking of yourself as one single unified organism. You have one brain, one heart, and one set of DNA. But mathematically and biologically speaking, you are completely wrong. You are not a single organism. You are a walking, breathing ecosystem. There are roughly 30 trillion human cells that make up your bones, muscles, and organs. However, there are an estimated 39 trillion bacterial cells living in and on your body right now. You are literally outnumbered by alien organisms within your own physical form. You are more bacteria than you are human. The vast majority of these microscopic hitchhikers live deep in the dark, oxygen-free environment of your lower gut. If you were to somehow scoop out all the bacteria currently residing in your large intestine, it would weigh roughly as much as your physical brain, about 3 pounds of pure, squirming, living microbes. The mere idea of carrying 3 pounds of bacteria inside your intestines sounds like a horrific, life-threatening parasitic infection. It sounds like something that requires immediate medical intervention, but without them, you would slowly starve to death and fall violently ill. This massive population is your gut microbiome. These bacteria act like an invisible secondary organ. They tirelessly digest the tough, fibrous plant matter that your human stomach acid and enzymes are simply incapable of breaking down. They manufacture essential life-saving vitamins out of thin air like vitamin K, which is absolutely crucial because it allows your blood to clot when you get cut. But perhaps their most important function is that they are incredibly territorial. Because your gut is already fully colonized and packed tightly with these good bacteria, there is simply no physical room or available food for invading bad bacteria to set up camp. If a dangerous pathogen somehow survives the brutal stomach acid and makes it all the way down to your intestines, your resident microbeast army will ruthlessly starve it out. They will release antimicrobial compounds and destroy the invader just to protect their own territory. You are quite literally kept alive by a vicious microscopic turf war happening in your bowels every single day of your life. And finally, after exploring the slime, the acid, the wax, and the bacterial armies, we arrive at the fluid I mentioned at the very beginning of this video. The ultimate biological sacrifice. When you get a nasty scrape on the pavement, a splinter from a piece of wood, or a severe, painful pimple, the area gets red, it swells up with inflammation, and eventually it fills with a thick, opaque, yellowish-white liquid. Pus. Of all the bodily fluids we have discussed today, pus is arguably the most reviled and universally hated. It looks exactly like an infection. It looks like decay and rot. We pop it, we squeeze it, we wipe it away with a tissue, and we wash it down the drain with utter disgust. But to view pus as just something gross to be eliminated is a massive disrespect to the brutal biological battle that just took place beneath your skin. When you get a cut, you breach the body's impenetrable armor, you open the gates. Bacteria instantly flood into the open wound, looking to rapidly multiply, feed on your tissues, and eventually enter your bloodstream to spread throughout your entire body. Immediately, your immune system sounds a systemic alarm. It quickly dispatches a massive specialized army of white blood cells, specifically a type of cell called neutrophils. These neutrophils are the microscopic super soldiers of your immune system. They rush through your blood vessels, squeeze through the tissue walls, and arrive at the site of the infection. Once there, they engage in brutal, hand-to-hand combat with the invading bacteria. They literally stretch out and swallow the invaders whole, neutralizing them from the inside with highly toxic digestive enzymes. But these heroic neutrophils only have one operational setting: kamikaze. After they consume a few bacteria, they cannot survive. They purposely self-destruct in a process that releases even more antimicrobial chemicals into the surrounding area, ensuring that the pathogens are completely and utterly wiped out. That thick yellow liquid you angrily squeeze out of a wound? That is pus. And pus is nothing more than the physical accumulation of millions upon millions of dead white blood cells. It is a literal mass grave of the microscopic heroes that just gave their lives to ensure that a tiny, insignificant scratch did not turn into a full-body systemic infection. It is not a sign that you are dirty or failing. It is a glorious sign that your immune system just successfully fought and won a desperate war on your behalf. Our bodies are incredibly messy. They leak strange fluids, they ooze thick gels, they secrete industrial-strength acids, and they harbor trillions of squirming microscopic beasts. From the outside, and certainly in the mirror, it is undeniably gross. But when you look closer, when you understand the mechanics, every single drop of slime, every ounce of acid, and every patch of wax is a masterclass in evolutionary survival engineering. You are a walking fortress, defended by mechanisms so bizarre and effective that modern science is still trying to fully understand them. So the next time you have to blow your nose, cough up a chunk of phlegm, or see a painful wound slowly healing, do not just be disgusted. Take a moment to show a little bit of respect to the incredible, messy, and totally gross biological machine that is working tirelessly, second by second, to keep you breathing. I want to hear from you down in the comments. Which of these disgusting bodily functions surprised you the most today? Are you ever going to look at earwax, stomach acid, or a wound filled with pus the same way again? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below right now, and let's get a fascinating discussion going.